Now moving to step 2, we're going to update our course to reference students. So basically our course is going to have a list of students, and then we'll also define the appropriate getter setter methods for this field. Now the important thing here is adding the many-to-many annotation. So we're going to annotate this field with @many-to-many, and then we'll add this join table annotation. So the join table basically tells Hibernate which join table that you'll use, so name equals course student. And then we'll also specify the join columns. So here I have join column, name equals course ID. So this basically tells Hibernate, hey, refer to the course ID column in the course student join table. And then we'll do a similar thing here for student. So for the inverse column, we'll say join column, name equals student underscore ID. So again, look into this join table and look for the column student underscore ID to find the appropriate students for this course. Now, a bit more on this @join table. So at the bottom, we have the code and the diagram. So the @join table tells Hibernate, hey, look at the course ID column in the course student table. And for the other side, or the inverse, look at the student ID column in the course student table. And then Hibernate will use this information to find relationships between the course and students. So here we have join column course ID, points to the course student, over to the actual course. And then a similar thing here for the student ID. So it points to student ID in the join table, which then points back to the student table. And this is all based on the foreign keys that we set up in some of the previous slides. Okay, so let's dig a little bit deeper here. So more on the inverse. So in this context, we're defining a relationship in the course class. So we are here. So we're on the course side of the house. The student class is on the other side. So it's considered the inverse. So inverse refers to the other side of the relationship. So we're defining code in course. The inverse is the actual student reference. So that's the other side. Now, with every many-to-many association, you have two sides. We have the owning side and the inverse side that we just saw. It's also referred to as the non-owning side. If the inverse is bidirectional, either side may be designated as the owning side. The non-owning side must use the mapped by element of the many-to-many annotation. And this is to specify the relationship field or the property of the owning side. So basically a way of tying it back to the owning side. And let's take a look at this with a nice diagram. So we have our course and student. So far we have the owning side of the course, and then the student is the inverse or the non-owning side. Now let's go ahead and update the mapping for the student. So in our student class, we have our private list of courses. And now what we'll do is we'll set up this many-to-many relationship. And then we have mapped by equals students. Now here, students refers to the student's property in the course class. Let's dig in a little bit deeper and let's get more information on this mapped by. We have our student class, many-to-many, mapped by students. Map by tells Hibernate, look at the student's property in the course class. Use the information from the course class join table to help find the associated courses for the student. So this is how it all ties together as far as using mapped by. Now, I always like to kind of pull this into a real world project. So this project requirement here is that if we delete a course, do not delete the students. So basically, do not apply cascading deletes. And the same holds true for the other side. If you delete a student, don't delete the course. And just to kind of recap here on this many-to-many relationship here, we're making use of many-to-many in a bidirectional scenario. We have the course and the student. The foreign key location is in the database table. We actually have a join table called course underscore student. And for the owning side here, the owning side is the course. And we make use of the many-to-many and the join table annotation. Again, remember, the owning side defines the physical mapping of the relationship,
And then for the inverse side, we have the student. So make use of the annotation here, many to many, and we set up the mapped by. So the inverse side kind of mirrors the owning side.
And in the next set of videos, we're going to add support for some other features. So we'll add support for lazy loading of students and courses, and then we'll also add support for cascading to handle saves, but not deletes. So again, if we delete a course, don't delete the students. And likewise, if we delete a student, don't delete the course. All right. So a lot of good stuff here, a lot of good theory. We laid the groundwork. In the next set of videos, we'll move into our coding. We'll write code. We'll get this many-to-many working. We'll use join tables and we'll pull it all together. So don't you worry. You'll have many-to-many working and running on your computer by the end of this series. All right. So I'll see ya in the next video. Yo.